My name is George Fee. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Honduras from 1984 until 1987. As a Peace Corps volunteer in Honduras, I was assigned to work with women's cooperatives in a hog raising project. So I brought the technical expertise of animal husbandry. I'd grown up on a farm, and that's why I was brought into that particular project. But I think by the time I left, we had 8 different cooperatives, all of Honduran women, and we were doing farrowing, which is a time in which you have the breeding project, the gestation, the lactation, and also feedlots. So it was very intensive, and just a great chance to use the skills that I'd already come with. I was dealing with women who were relatively poorly educated. I would say the majority of them were not literate. Those who had gone to school may have only been 1, 2, or 3 years at primary school. But that's not to say that they were not intelligent people. They were probably more of the more intelligent, and certainly all of these skills I was transferring to members of the cooperative. So we would work in such a way that I would have to be able to understand what the problem was. I would then be able to translate the solution to that problem into Spanish, a simple enough Spanish, first off because I spoke relatively simple Spanish at the time, but also that's sort of the educative level of my audience. So I was dealing with people who couldn't really read what the instructions might be on an antibiotic, but if I put it in simple terms, give 5 cc's of this every 6 hours, then they would be able to. In the Peace Corps, I think that first off, we were always there at the invite of the host country, history in which they were just getting around to finding out how important it was for both genders to be educated. A lot of times when the school systems would first start up, the families would only be able to send 1 child or 2 children, and they would almost exclusively pick boys to go to school if it was only for a few years. And when I got to Honduras, the place of women in the world was actually on the rise, and it was something that I could do to help women who would be, let's say anywhere from age 16 up to 60, because that was kind of the different group that I had demographically. Help them, and also show to the other members of the community that education and the ability to do technical skills is really very important for everyone involved and for the good of the community and the country. It taught them business skills, it taught them animal husbandry skills, it taught them really that they were much more than just a spouse and mother in a small community in rural Honduras. On a one-to-one basis, me working with the members of the cooperative, I think the first thing that I conveyed to them, I was in a rural area. Many of the folks there had never really met an American before. So I think I conveyed to them on a very personal level what our nation is capable of doing, such as providing volunteers. It was an experience in which I learned a lot more and feel that I received a lot more than I was able to teach. I think most volunteers will have a similar reaction to that. I think that one of the big things is that we all learned that deep down we're pretty much the same people. The things that concerned me and the things that concerned the folks who I was working with on a basic level, we're all pretty much the same. Family is very important, community is very important, social interactions. I would say Peace Corps probably made me more extroverted than I had been beforehand. I was always a person who enjoyed learning about others. I spend probably more of my time reading about it, so it's kind of an introverted way of getting my knowledge. But through Peace Corps and the fact that I was out and working with these different cooperatives on pretty much a 24/7 type of schedule, I was always acting with other people, and the interaction just really sort of it becomes just a great source of energy for both you and for the other individual. There were some cultural barriers, most definitely. I think that where I was, which was a predominantly Roman Catholic society, Spanish speaking, not too terribly far from the United States geographically, the cultural differences were not really all that big, but certainly there was an awful lot of difference as far as the relationship between single men and single women. I wasn't quite used to going out with somebody with a chaperone. That was certainly an eye-opening experience for me the first few times. Other things that I did encounter, I did encounter quite a bit of resistance through what I would call the machismo, or the more traditional male element in their society. You know, why is someone here teaching women something when they could be teaching the men that? And I would say that the way that I dealt with it more than anything else was trying to be as inclusive as possible. I would work with the women, and I would not exclude them bringing their husbands or bringing their sons or daughters with them. I tried to divide my time up, at least in the site where I lived. We had about 12 families who were involved in the cooperative exactly where I lived, and I would spend my time having meals and things like that with each of the families. So I would rotate around, and I got to know not only the members of the cooperative, but their extended families. And I think that that was a real easy means for me to not be confrontational, but to break the ice and to get the men and the male children on board with me, so that their mothers and sisters could continue with the project. Big picture wise, I think that one of the most important things the United States gets is a citizenry, meaning U.S. citizens, who are better educated and more in tune with the reality of the world outside the United States. I think that the ability to take myself, at that time I was just a farm kid from Ohio, and put me into a completely different culture generally benefits the United States when I come home and can explain to my neighbors and my friends what it was like over there, and what it was like for myself as an American raised in the same culture that they were, and to be able to explain that the same types of hopes and dreams that we have, I was able to see in the folks over there. I think it also assists the United States in sort of what is our State Department and foreign policy going forward, by having individuals that have come to those countries and made friends with their members. It puts our positions for foreign policy in a much more human light. It makes it easier for our government to have credibility when they talk to and make foreign policy with these nations, because the United States will, put its people in those countries to assist and to sort of mutually exchange cultural values, and everyone learns. So I think it's a good thing all around for both the United States and all of its citizens. I sort of see the goal that what I accomplished in the Peace Corps, what I was able to learn there, I think that what I've been able to do, or hope that I've been able to do, bring a perspective on the illegal immigration debate to Americans who may not have had that experience of living overseas, of seeing what is actually going on in some of those countries, getting to know the people there, and being able to express to an American audience what some of the frustrations, what some of the economic challenges, what some of the security challenges are through my experiences as of actually having lived through it.